Hey everybody, Johnny Retro here. As I'm looking for a video idea, I happen to run across a controller that I had for over a year and just realized what it was the other week. And as I'm looking for video ideas, I noticed I had a controller, like this black controller. I thought it was like some third-party, like generic controller. And then I happened to notice a certain logo on the end connector. And I happened to look closely, and Nintendo. I'm like, what? Nintendo? I didn't know Nintendo made a black controller. So I'm like, wait, this thing's got to be rare then. I've never seen anything. So I hopped on the little web there, started researching, and I ended up finding out that this thing is like really rare. It went to a Sharp/Nintendo combo television. So it was a Sharp television with a built-in NES, which was crazy to think about. I never knew these things existed, and I took to Facebook because I'm in a bunch of retro gaming Facebook groups, and I posted the picture of the controller, and people was mentioning like how lucky I am. I have this thing. This thing is super rare. It goes from $75 to $250 online. I actually looked up pricing for it. I can't find anything definitive, and all these price charting guides and stuff have nothing. Like, there's not enough information on this. This thing's been sitting a while, so let's clean this thing up and get it back to its former glory, hopefully. So I did test this. It actually works, which I was relieved that it did. But this thing's been sitting a while. It's dirty. It's been sitting in my drawer for over a year, and I mean, the buttons feel good. I haven't unwound it yet since I received it. A good friend of mine gave this to me. He didn't know what it was, and I didn't know what it was. He thought it looked cool because it was a black controller. I mean, that's exactly what I thought. I didn't think anything of it either. And like I said, I thought it was some generic third-party controller because it says game television on the front of it. I didn't know what that was. But it's got all this tape on there to hold the cable together. So let's remove that and get this thing cleaned up back to its former glory. Let's do this. And I noticed here that the corner of the start button's been chipped. As you can see, yeah, part of the rubber's missing on there. What I can do is I could take a spare controller I have and just replace the start and select button rubber pieces inside. It's no biggie. Yeah, all this is scratched up here. Yeah, most of this can be removed with a toothbrush and hot soapy water, but the scratches will probably stay. But overall, this doesn't look too bad. I can clean this up pretty good. Like I said, the scratches I probably can't do nothing with. So now I'm going to speed things up and get these screws out and open this thing up. Yeah, I was having so much trouble with that top corner screw. It was stripped so bad. I don't know if somebody tried taking this thing apart before, but the screwdriver would not take it out. I worked on this thing for a good 40 minutes trying to get it out, but I did get it out. I did. It was a pain, but I did. Now we got this open, let's take a look at this board and see how it looks. Now that I spent all that time getting that last screw out was a pain. Alright, so let's take a look at this. Get this cable out. Be very careful. It's not like the Super Nintendo where it's on a clip. These cables are actually soldered onto the board here. Alright, I got that cable loose. I'll lift this board out gently. Put this around. Oh yeah, all this. Yeah, we can wipe these contacts down for sure. All right, yeah, I'm gonna put alcohol on this board and clean the leads and all that stuff too. Let's see how these buttons look. Alright, let's check the rubber on these buttons here real quick. Alright, see if they're cracked or dry rotted. No, it looks good to me, just a little dirty. Alright, it's got some bend to it. Let's check the start and select button. Yeah, well, I'm going to switch this out anyways with another controller, but you see that chip a little better right there. Yeah, I'm just going to swap that out, no big deal. It's got some thread on there. Let's check the D-pad. Oh yeah, no cracks, no rot, good. Let's check this D-pad now. Oh yeah, it's got some years on this for sure. Take it back that. Alright. Pop these buttons out. These aren't too horrible, just the bottoms are a little dirty, but that can be cleaned. Let's clean this board with some isopropyl alcohol and a Q-tip. Clean these contacts too. You can see that they're pretty dirty. Get this all cleaned up. Now we can clean the outside of this controller with some hot soapy water. This should do the trick. I got a soft bristle toothbrush. I let these parts soak for about 15-20 minutes. Since as dirty as it was, I'm going to do about 20 minutes. I'm gonna pop these pieces in and let it soak. In the meantime, I'm going to clean these screws with an isopropyl alcohol and a toothbrush and get all that crud off the tips of the screw. And make it like new again. With that screw that was stripped, I ended up replacing it with another screw from another controller, so that worked out. That parts have soaked about 20 minutes. I'm going to get a scrub and get all that gunk off there. Yeah, this thing definitely needs a deep clean. I'm still seeing stuff like by the button areas, like caked in the little crevices, so I really have to scrub that. And then after the parts are completely clean, let sit and let it dry for about an hour, 2 hours. I usually have a fan blowing on it. And after that, it's usually about 100% dry, and then it's time for reassembly. The start and select buttons look way better now since I swapped them out with another controller. Now I want to speed things up to save time as I put this thing together. Now it's put back together. That looks a lot better, a lot clean. I mean, there's still scuffs and scratches on it, but there's nothing I can do about it. But overall, it's clean, not dirty anymore. Buttons feel good. Oh yeah, I like that. Definitely the start button looks good again. Now I gotta clean this cable with a microfiber cloth and some isopropyl alcohol. I'm gonna run it down the cord. And there it is, all cleaned up. Now that's a good looking controller. Good job, Johnny. Good job. And that'll do it for today's video. This thing looked really clean now. I like it a lot. This controller is pretty badass. It's crazy you have something in your collection that you know nothing of and think it's worth nothing. And in fact, it's worth quite a lot. But like I said, this thing went to a Sharp NES television. It was like a combo thing. I think it was like 1989 or 1990 it came out in the US. I don't know all the details on this thing, but there's a video I'll put in the description below. It's Norman, the gaming historian. He covered this, and he brings a really good insight on what this thing was and how long it was produced for, stuff like that. But from what I did researched it, maybe 50,000 units, but it was only in production for 6 months here in the US, so who knows how many survived throughout the years. And maybe that's why there's not a definitive price on these controllers, so who knows. But like I said, that's it for me today. Please, if you're not subscribed, please subscribe. It helps my channel out tremendously. Remember, it's always free to. Hit that like button if you enjoyed this video. And until next time, Johnny Retro